Hi everybody! Ben and I were talking about, since we were introducing the Orc Samurai, we thought it'd be a cool idea to do an intro to Japanese armor, because I'm an armor maniac. That's where I blow all my money. And so I thought I'd put a few helmets here on the table from my collection and talk about them, and give you kind of a quick overall view of the differences between them, and the fun stuff about Japanese armor, or helmets. So, the first one I'm going to introduce you to, by the way, the word helmet is kabuto. That's how it's said in Japanese. My pronunciation is a little screwed up, but that's okay. So this first helmet here, we see this is kind of a typical Japanese helmet. Most helmets look kind of like this. The helmet's made out of a few parts. This is called the hachi. That's kind of the bowl of the helmet. And the shikuro, which is the flexible neck guard. There's other parts that maybe we'll talk about a little later. But this particular style of kabuto is called a tsuji style. And that has these lines in it because the plates are connected there. And we would refer to in the West as maybe a ridged or ribbed helmet. And this is called a medate. And these are decorations on the helmet that are removable.
They just kind of say what house they're from or what family?
Yeah, or it just looks cool.
Yeah.
You know?
What's the helmet made from?
The helmet's made out of iron, and it's lacquered. And it's lacquered in a dark brown and laced with a dark blue silk cord.
And then what's the year style?
This helmet was probably made in the late 17 or early 1800s. But the style is very old. The style is from the 1600s. So... Then we have something over here, which is interesting, another version of a Japanese helmet that has standing rivets in it. It's called a hoshi style. Now, hoshi in Japanese means star. So these are little stars on here. Now, we would call it a riveted helmet or a standing rivet helmet. But it's the same basic construction, but instead of the rivets being shaved down or hidden, they're standing out. So this helmet is made out of 62 plates, and it has 22 rivets in each plate, so you do the math. Very interesting looking helmet here. This roping, or this edging, is called fukurin, and it's decorative edging for helmets. So then, once we get past the two basic styles of helmets, then we have something called kawari kabuto, which means unusual helmet. And the first unusual helmet we're going to talk about is this one right here. It's called a Tsunari helmet. And this looks a little bit like Darth Vader's helmet. Also looks a little bit like a German World War II helmet. And it's basically the same design. And this was created after the Westerners went into Japan and introduced the Japanese to guns. And they went, these regular helmets aren't working so good. We need anti-gun helmets. And this was one of the first kind, and this is a very popular style helmet. Now this style of Tsunari, which means head-shaped helmet, Zu meaning head and Nari is shape. It's called the Hinino Tsunari, which means this front plate here is on the outside instead of on the inside of these top plates. And it has this cool, really fancy cutout on the top. I just love it. Yeah. And again, made out of iron and laced together with silk.
What's the purpose of the wings?
These are called fukigaeshi, which means blowback. And here's my theory, because I don't know exactly what they're for. Old helmets have very, very large ones. And the Japanese were not a sword-wielding people as much as they're an archer people. That's the main thing of warfare, is the bow and the spear are the two main weapons of Japan, not the sword. And I think it's... and they were horse warfare people. So when you pull your bow back, you have these things that go back so the bow won't catch on the side of your helmet, maybe. And also, if you do get slashed, you have double protection on the side. And as warfare changed, as weapon styles changed, these got smaller and smaller and smaller. So what they were originally for, can't really tell you because I don't know. But it's a very distinct feature of Japanese helmets, these fukigaeshi. And again, my pronunciation's just a little off because I'm a Westerner, not a Japanese. Here is one of my favorite helmets. I just bought this one a couple of weeks ago, too. This is called a Chochin helmet. This is another unusual helmet. And this is a helmet that just folds up and opens up. Very interesting. You ever seen that? You ever were in Cub Scouts and you got those little fold-up cups and things like that? That's exactly what this is. And then you have this little bar here, and this pin goes through and connects it and gives your helmet rigidity. And then when you're done using it, you just pack it all up and put it in your box, and it fits into a nice, neat little package. So if you didn't have a lot of money as a samurai, you wanted a Chochin helmet because they're pretty darn cool. This helmet here is interesting. It's a Tsuji style kabuto, which has the lines on it, but it's gold lacquered. So you see the shikuro here is lacquered actually in gold, which is very expensive. And the crest here is probably from a Catholic samurai. Very interesting, because Catholicism was introduced to Japan in the 1500s by Westerners.
How can you tell he's Catholic?
Because he has a cross on it. Now, Catholicism was outlawed in Japan, so if you were a believer, if you were a Catholic samurai, a lot of them would wear a cross symbol means the number 10 in Japan, in Japanese. And so they would put these different kind of cross symbols on their armor so that other Catholics would know each other. But you weren't wearing a cross, so you weren't going to get banished or go to prison or whatever. So here is another Momonari. This is called a Momonari style helmet, which means peach shape. Again, it was an kind of an anti-bullet kind of thing. Had that smooth streamline, and it was a lot of the Morion style helmets that we see in Europe. This was influenced by that. And by the way, this is the best Momonari helmet you're ever going to see in your entire life. You may see one as good as this, not better. And the last one we're going to show you is another unusual helmet. It's called an eboshi style, and it's based off of a court cap. So we see this really cool shape here. So you had a court cap shape, and that's what the word eboshi is. Ben, do you have any questions?
No, I think that's really cool. They're all iron. They're all. What's the time period?
The time period of all these helmets is from the early 1600s up until the mid 1800s. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then the little pieces on the front, those are interchangeable among all of them?
Yeah, they're interchangeable amongst all of them. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Very cool.
Okay, we hope you guys like this, and we're going to do more Japanese armor a little bit later. But we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.